Hey, good morning.
What's up, Jay? How's it going, brother?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I
I'll
see
give you
you.
that.
Piped in some bird music.
Yeah. Well, I'm outside. You wanted poolside. That's what you wanted, right?
That was
Unfortunately,
my
it's
request.
it's your request. There you go. There's the pool. I'm trying to get this a little bit higher. Yeah, so I thought when I created the event, I thought that maybe it would go live. Like I guess I didn't understand the dynamics of the LinkedIn live. I thought it would just start a
Yeah, I did
video,
too.
but
I was
yeah.
Confused, but this
Maybe,
works.
yeah, this will work. And I mean, whoever joins is going to join.
Yeah.
Let's do this. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. I'm coffeeed up. I'm on my first
Yeah.
tea, and looks like a beautiful
Beautiful Minnesota day, and
Love it.
couldn't be better. How's things in Texas?
It's great. We're at, it's like this little bit of a lull right now in the weather. So we're enjoying that. Like it's 75 right now and a little bit humid,
Okay.
but I'll take it. It's better than the alternative, much better than the alternative.
Yeah.
So what part of Minnesota are you in, like close to one of the facilities, or?
Oh no, I'm not close to anything. No, I'm in the western suburbs. The city is Orono, kind of like Orono.
Okay.
Wayne, spelled the same. And I'm
Nice.
about
Okay.
45 minutes from operational headquarters. I think you were
Nice.
there recently. Yeah.
I was there recently.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to get this thing right.
Oh, no worries, man. Keep adjusting. And then my Rice
Creek
Creek.
facility is just about a half a mile from where you were.
Oh wow, okay, that's
and
awesome.
Back when I started at Medtronic a long time ago,
Yep.
20 years ago. I started when I was 12. I'm kidding.
Nice.
That was actually the world headquarters too. So
Nice.
we've grown a lot. We've grown a lot in 20 years. Pretty
It's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Well, hey man, I don't know if anybody else is gonna join this thing, but it doesn't matter. Maybe they have to be Medtronic employees. I didn't think about that when they click on that link.
I have no idea how that works, but we'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah. What's cool about this is just like seeing seeing some of the things that you post, and I just always smile. I always kind of know you got that light, that just having fun with work, having fun with the job, which I think is a big thing and important, but you care, you're passionate about what you do. You're always welcoming new employees. That's really cool. I think that's is that something you've always done even before LinkedIn, or?
No, not really.
It's kind of during a pandemic. I had started chatting, reaching out to interns or students who were about to graduate college, and the fear that they have of how am I going to land my first job, and how do I navigate the application process, and how do I get to talk to somebody, and we all understand that. So it was just a matter of reaching out, and interns and students know students, and it just kind of snowballed. And now I'm at the point where work is amazing. My favorite part of the week though is talking to interns and students, and I spend probably 3 or 4 or 5 students a week since the pandemic started, and it's just
awesome.
It energizes me. It really does, because that's the future of our company. That's it's really cool.
You and I are alike in that regard, not just our wonderful hairstyles. Zim. Can I call you Zim? I don't know.
You can call me Zim, Jay.
Okay.
And this lighting makes me look bald, but I actually have Brad Pitt's hair. It's funny how that works.
There you go. Yeah. I don't know. I can't escape it. But I'm very much the same way. And I don't have the bandwidth, I wouldn't say, to take everyone on that's trying to, find a job but I've had a couple of unique experiences with masters in students. So they're masters in neurosciences, right? So these people found me, and that's the portfolio, right, that Brett represents, that I believe both of us are serving. And it's fascinating to me that these people are interested and from a study master's perspective, and you think about all the work that goes into that, but want to transition into working for med tech and specifically Medtronic. And that's been really, really neat to, I don't want to say take them under my wing, but what's really been fun about, they're both very similar. They're both females, very smart, very driven. They've got something outside of school that they, one's yoga, one's the other's like cycling. And, I just love if I can somehow get them to join, to help join Medtronic, right? And even if it doesn't fall into, CST or neuromodulation, I think that it's still good to get good people that want to join our company. I like you, I get energized.
Yeah. And we're so
fortunate to do what we do, and it's not cliche at all to say there's not going to be another Medtronic, because there's only one Earl Bakken. And, he laid down the framework decades ago, and it hasn't changed at all. And
no.
And every CEO that comes in follows that to the letter, the Medtronic mission. Right. And there's just never going to be another one of those.
No.
And it's a really amazing culture.
And you're right about that. It's mission driven. And even, speaking with Jeff in person, 8 days ago was such an amazing experience for me. We talked a lot about, the mission and the mindset, right? The mindset is something that really, Matt, gets me fired up. There's been a lot of change and a lot of restructuring as of late. And then I was impacted a little bit on that. I'm going to say a little bit. I was impacted on that a lot and had to kind of reinvent myself. But a lot of what I am doing now, I'm using that mindset as my North Star. Right. Because I've always been bold and I've always been moving with the speed and decisiveness. And I told these things to Jeff. I said, this really speaks to me. And they're not just words on a page to me. This is kind of how I live my life and how I am trying to raise my boys to live their lives. And it means a lot. And, I think he appreciated hearing that. And look, it's really, hey, Dan. So we got some other people to join. We'll see if they step up to the video. Let's see, switch to, okay, cool. So yeah, look, in med tech is a unique place. It's moving really, really fast at a rapid pace. I'd like to ask you from an engineering side, because it's fascinating to me. You guys make the products that we, take to market and that we talk to surgeons about. So when does that process start? Is it a napkin sketch? Is it a conversation with a surgeon? Honestly, I have no idea. And so I just want to be educated in that.
Yeah, no, it often does.
To the metaphorical napkin sketch.
Hey, Justin.
Hey, Justin. So
a lot of brilliant people at Medtronic, a lot of great ideas. The official path is we have a research division that's working on all of this. They're like the James Bond. What was his name? The guy that made all the gadgets for James Bond.
Yeah. No, I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name.
Yeah.
Maybe Justin might know.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
What's
that?
Q.
Yes.
Short for quartermaster.
Exactly.
Well played.
So prior to James Bond getting that rocket launcher put on his Aston Martin, the FDA has to approve it. So these research folks will hand it off to my group, in essence, the development mode. And, without getting into the IP, I'm starting a couple of projects now. And the first thing we do is we get together with the people who have done the research. Right. We get together with the business folks. We get together with, medical safety. We get together with probably a dozen different disciplines to just talk about, hey, what does everybody see this going? I mean, there's been, at this point, really no technical discussions because we're trying to gather input from various sources, technical and non-technical, and make sure we build the right product. And, it could be the most amazing whiz bang Star Wars technology over, but if it's not comfortable for the user to use, or it's not usable, or it's not safe, or there's a risk to it, we're not going to build it.
To reset for those that have joined, sorry, Jim, the question is from a sales perspective, and Matt's on the engineering side, and so just trying to educate myself on where that process starts, right? Is it a napkin sketch? I don't want to diminish or marginalize what you guys do, but you're creating something from somewhere, and so I'm just interested in, and more fascinated in that process.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool process,
and it's vetted at every step of the way. We have quality gates that make sure we're not, pushing the boundaries of any kind of risk, unacceptable risk to the patient.
Right.
And when I started 20 years ago, and I mentioned at the start of our chat, Jay, that where I'm at now in Rice Creek was also the world headquarters. Awesome. And I didn't know any places outside of Medtronic. It was a pre-internet, very pre-internet like it is today. Very simple, relatively simple to build a product. You had hardware engineers, people that built the physical stuff, and a little bit of software in there. Today,
to build one of these products is really different.
It's medical safety, it's standards and regulations, and these are all engineering disciplines who are experts in their fields, and they are with us the whole ride. And my role in kind of keeping these people all together is really just ensuring that people have conversations, that I ask questions. My job is more about asking questions and answering them, that's for sure. I probably ask 10, 15 questions for every one I answer. And I'm fine with that. I'm more than happy playing the role of the ignorant one in the room, because it's often I am.
Hey, questions are everything. I mean, if I've learned anything, it's ask more questions, listen, and then apply maybe some knowledge. Justin, welcome. If you're open to it, share your story. It looks like this is being recorded. I didn't really intend for that to happen, but we're definitely. I'm Jay. I just want to see the pool. Texas. Yeah. By request. We moved into this place right before quarantine, so late February, and it's got an old pool. Yeah, it's great. I love it. It's a big pool. It's old, diving board, and it's But hey, I would love to meet you. I'm Jay from Texas. Work on the CST side with Roy Galvin and Jacob Paul, and pleasure to meet you.
You too. So Justin Roberts, I live in Switzerland. I've been with Medtronic for about 17 years now. I'm the general manager for our hernia and wound management business, and that's part of the SI, the Surgical Innovations Operating Unit. So awesome. You heard Matt talking about R&D and about program development. It's my job basically to provide the framework so that the team knows whether the initiatives they're working on fit with what we're trying to do from a business perspective. So that's kind of one way of looking at the general management role, is just making sure that that business direction is clear, that every function understands what their role is in achieving that business goal, and and communicating it through to each of the functions. It is also to ensure that as Jeff is rolling out his direction, his expectations for Medtronic, we're dividing those up and we're understanding what that means for each of the operating units, right? So what my role is in SI, like I have to control and deliver certain profitability. Matt Perry, my boss, the leader of SI, has to do the same thing. He has to manage the portfolio according to where he wants to invest. And Jeff's doing the same thing across Medtronic. So it's that kind of portfolio management type role.
That's outstanding. Well, thanks for joining. Wow, it's amazing, Justin. Nice to meet you. Switzerland's a beautiful place. It's kind of like Texas, just with some mountains, right?
Very much like Texas. Same kind of food. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Pickup trucks. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's outstanding. It's good to hear just different perspectives of the business. And I mean, guys, like I honestly, I know it's busy. We're all busy. This is just kind of a fun whim thing that Zim threw out there. And it, I figured like, let's be bold. Let's move with speed and decisiveness. Let's just throw it up there and see what sticks. It looks like it's just the three of us. I tested with my iPhone. Oh, there's one more. So we've got Dan's apostrophe, plural Dan's, maybe? I don't know. Dan is on. Welcome, Dan. And so yeah, so where do you guys want to chat about? We got another 20, I guess 10, 15 minutes.
So Jay, what did you meet Jeff for? Was it a week ago or?
Yes, 8 days.
Yeah, I want to hear about
eight days ago. Yeah. So just, following that mindset to the T, Justin, be bold and move. No, so I was up there visiting with Tom Ferguson, the regional vice president. I just taken over. I used to have Texas West, so the Western UNS. And then during the reorg, took a job as director of strategy and talent, working with Roy for the nation. And so I'd never yet covered anything on the East Coast or certainly not Minnesota. And so Tom and we hit it off, became fast friends, and I have a lot to learn from him. He's got a lot of market share, which is different than some of the other regions that I've been a part of, right? And so I wanted to learn from him, from one of the kind of where he sees things going, and really just spend some time with him. And and I had planned to spend more time with his sales team in the operating room, meet some surgeons and that type of thing. But my dad's sick, and I had to get back to Texas to be with him. So it was just it was a quick trip. And so when I was up there, ironically, the way this whole thing started up at OHQ was Karen Parkhill's recent to LinkedIn. And I looked at her profile when Jeff introduced her to LinkedIn, and saw that she went to SMU, Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas, which is my alma mater. And there's connections in Dallas, my buddies in commercial real estate that use it all the time. There's a network. I've never used it for anything business. It just hasn't had that. There's never been an opportunity. So I thought, okay, let's try. Send her an email. I said, hey, Karen. And I've been on a couple Zoom calls with her, listening. But just introduced myself as from one Mustang alum to another. Told her I was going to be in town, and she said, come on by. So that's kind of what started. And then I mentioned it to Jeff, who was with a surgeon that we work with, Dr. Greg Poulter, and Dan's dropping the apostrophes. And so Jeff reached out to me after he'd spent time with Greg Poulter, who's an orthopedic spine surgeon for Ortho Indy in Indianapolis. Ironically, I had just spent time with Dr. Poulter, and so all these things are interconnected. So that's kind of how it started. I was grateful for the 30 minutes with Jeff. I mean, I feel honored, and more so 30 active listening minutes. He was silencing his phone. He was looking and listening and really, really engaging with, some of the things that we talked about.
Yeah, he's the real deal. Real genuine person. Yeah, we're lucky to have him. Yeah, no question about it.
Hey, Dan, Dan's got a question for you. And Jay, I think it's probably best you answer this one. Did you see his question?
Yeah, let me look it up in the chat.
I'll read it out to you. Dan is changing careers, and he's looking to break into the medical sales field. I guess so. Jay, what was your path into medical sales? Yeah,
it took 10 years before I was ever really successful, right? So 4 years of B2B sales at IBM, learning how to grow a territory, how to sell, how to understand the dynamic of IBM calls it the signature selling methodology. But I mean, really, it's just managing a territory and learning how to talk to people and work with people, cross-functional teams, customers, right? So I would highly recommend, Dan, that you get some sort of sales experience. The reason, as a hiring manager, I've been a hiring manager. I ran a team of 15 regional sales managers, and they were past that point in their career. But for the entry level, we can teach you our products and therapies, and we can teach you, some of those things. It's a big risk. And Zimmerman, Matt was talking earlier about, I mean, if our products aren't passing quality, we're not going to put them into the hands of a surgeon, which could help treat a patient. And in that same similar breath, you know, as someone who's going to put someone as a representative of our company in front of that same surgeon in that ecosystem of an operating room, I can't, that's a risk. And so we're trying to mitigate risk, and we want to make sure that people know how to handle themselves in a challenging environment. And I think that having sales experience, if I'm making sense, I think that having sales experience is just one less thing to check. If you can do it in other fields, you will be able to transfer it here. I did it in IT, in tech. I also took a gap year, right? Traveled to many different countries. Missed Switzerland, unfortunately, but it's on my list. And so then came back and did B2B travel, B2B sales for a travel company, STA Travel, UK company. And so, but then I found this space, and I just started networking and doing my research. So those would be the three things: get sales experience somewhere, uniforms, copiers, something where you learn the training. And I just did a podcast with a gal who landed a job with Stryker, who got the same feedback, and she was super talented, but she went and did real estate sales for 8 months, and then Stryker hired her. So it doesn't take a long time. You just need to check that box for I would say, for industry. And that's at least my perspective. You know, then the next thing is just do your research. You know, I can't tell you how many times, and I've stopped having these, I just don't have the bandwidth for it. I've stopped having the conversations with people trying to break in. It's no offense to you, Dan, or to anyone that watches this, but I just, I post videos instead. I can reach more people at scale and tell them things that I would say on those calls. But a couple of things that I noted, which was actually the genesis of my snow video right out here back in February when Austin was hit with a snowstorm and I wasn't sleeping. So I of course posted a video, a little bit maniacal, but my reason for doing that was the countless number of people that don't do research before they reach out to network. And it bothers me. I did 7 or 8 months of research before I ever reached out to anyone in industry. It's a waste of time. I mean, quite honestly, just like when you're going in front of a surgeon, Justin or Matt, it's not their job to tell us where they went to school. We can find that on a quick Google search. It's not my job or Justin's job to tell you about Medtronic. That's something you should go ahead and do. And do that research on your own, so that when we have 10, 15 minutes, that it's valuable. And so do that research, like do yourself that favor, help us help you. Would be
I'll add one thing to that. I came from Procter & Gamble marketing, and I think recognizing what your transferable skills are, Dan, and making sure that those align with what the company is that you're applying to. So if you've got a skill set in a certain area, there are many, many different medical device companies, medical companies that you could apply for. Try and find where your skill set you've developed matches what that company is looking for. And so, as Jay was saying, you know, doing that research to understand what their aspiration is as a company and how the skills you've already developed would fit would be a real sensible task to take on before you have your first conversation with them.
And then, Jay, on a very
practical side, I remember this. I was fortunate to spend a few years in the field with Medtronic Lung Health, supporting cases and developing products. And the very experienced salesperson, the best advice I got when he first met me and changed me into the scrubs room was, he looked me right in the eyes and said, "Matt, always pretend like you belong in the hospital. Don't walk around looking at stuff. Pretend like you belong there." And long story short, you know, I probably did 20 cases with him before I was turned loose on my own, and I was terrified. But it ended up being one of the best confidence building exercises in the world that you could ever imagine. And you think to yourself, hey, I know how to support this product. And it's a very empowering feeling. And it's a wonderful feeling, but it is terrifying at first when you realize everyone in an operating room is looking to you for the answer. It's a great experience. And you know, and real quick, I recommend to all people coming into Medtronic, you know, interns or students on your career path, make sure you have at least one position at Medtronic or whatever where you get to spend a year or two in the field interacting with doctors and and healthcare professionals, because it really makes your job much easier to do, and it helps you do your job correctly. And it's
invaluable experience.
Yeah, well said, Matt. And I think that just to add a couple points on both of those, like I completely believe with what Justin said, aligning what you do and what you like to do and what you're maybe good at with what you want to do, and then apply it. And it is easier said than done, but if you do that, you'll have more success. And then Matt, to your point, act as if you belong. I mean, literally, I just did that 8 days ago at OHQ. I mean, I don't belong there. I mean, but you can put on I felt as if I did, and they were welcoming enough to have me. And so, yeah, but I did the same thing starting out. I didn't know anything. I was wearing scrubs, wearing a scrub hat. I've told the story before, over my ears, and my senior rep was like, bro, what are you doing? Like, you got to act like you know what you're doing. I don't want to say fake it till you make it, because this is not something that we fake. I was trained before I was ever set loose, like you said. But yeah, you just need to have a sense of like, take the time to study and research, be a sponge. If you're in an associate, and this is kind of a similar related role, or excuse me, a similar related comment. If you're in an associate role or a support role, and you have aspirations to carry a bag and a quota, don't be in a rush. I did two years as an associate. Then I finally got an opportunity. And then at 2 years after that, I almost left, and I'm glad that I didn't, because it took a long time. It took 10 years before I made any real money. And it's not about the money, but really had success in what I was doing. Surgeons would come to me for answers in the operating room, before surgery, after surgery. It was a part of the team. Mm-hmm. So that's really it. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate you hopping on. Nice to meet you, and look forward to connecting more. And Dan, anybody else that came on, thanks for hopping on. Looks like look on the chat, you've got an interview, 5 questions. Hey, just be yourself. Find something unique about you, right? Resume gets you in the door. So what you've done gets you there. This interview, right? This interview is now your opportunity to, so the doors opens, your opportunity to go through that door. And so be respectful, ask questions, listen, don't interrupt, and be yourself. There's something about you that will make you stand out from the rest. Yeah. That's what I do every day.
And take a breath before you answer.
Yes. Embrace the pause.
Exactly.
Hey, guys, go on. Be good selling. Best of luck in FY22, Justin. I hope to meet you in person one day. And Zimmerman, you as well. Thanks for doing this.
Take care,
this
guys.
This is fun.
Yeah,
see you guys. All right, man.